Welcome to CandleLight Audiobook. The Secret Misses. Chapter 301. As Luna was about to leave, Margaret noticed that Father Lou was silent with a cold expression on his face. Theo stood up and walked towards Little Treasure, then carried him to Luna. Go send Auntie Luna off. Little Treasure nodded and held Luna's hand. Luna looked at Theo gratefully, then walked off with her little bun to the courtyard. Matthew was about to get up, but was stopped by Margaret. She shook her head and said, "Let them be, he's just sending her off." Matthew's expression was still unhappy, but he gave in anyway. Luna and Little Treasure walked along a short green pebbled path. It would take them 10 minutes to reach the courtyard gate. Along the path, Luna kept thinking about words to comfort the little bun, but she was unable to come up with anything. The little bun looked down, refusing to lift his head up. After a while, he took out his writing board, and started writing. The little bun showed Luna the board after he was done with it. On the board it was written. Tagore once said, "If you love her, let your love surround her like sunlight and set her free." Luna's sadness vanished after she saw what Little Treasure wrote. "Baby, you even know about Tagore. Where did you learn this from?" Luna squatted down and hugged the little bun tightly, and with a heart full of warmth, she told him, "Thank you. I'm really thankful for you." She really did not expect Little Treasure to show her something as heart-touching as this. As she was hugging Little Treasure, she saw a familiar shadow closing in. She quickly kissed the little bun and told him that she would find a chance to visit him again, then she ran away. Theo felt forlorn when he saw the girl running away swiftly. Cleo laughed out loud. "Bro, Luna runs faster than a mutant rabbit when she sees you." He then looked at the little bun and said, "It's really unfair. I understand now that no matter what I say it can never be on par with a kiss from Little Treasure. If there's something a kiss cannot solve, then 2 kisses. So, bro, why don't you let Little Treasure do his thing and change our parents' mind? Won't it solve the huge issue between you and Luna?" "This isn't the biggest problem between us," Theo replied coldly. He knew clearly that the suggestion to have Luna resign and become Little Treasure's tutor was the best compromise the old man could make. However, his ultimate goal was accomplished when he saw how much influence Luna had over Little Treasure. He knew that Matthew would not try to do anything to her. After Luna left, Matthew called both sons into his study room. "Seeing that it's all for Little Treasure, I will not pursue what happened last night further, but there will be no next time. Father, why are you so troublesome? Just let brother marry her already, then everything will be solved." How awesome would that be? Surprisingly, Matthew did not get angry at Cleo. Instead he sighed. "Cleo, if it had been you, I would have agreed to the marriage." Cleo shivered. "Father, can you stop making such terrifying statements?" This was just causing him more trouble. Chapter 302. My son, if it had been your wife, even if she were an artiste, there wouldn't be much of an implication. But it's not the same with your brother. He's the chief executive officer of Goldberg Group Corporation and the helmsman of the Goldberg family empire. His choice for a wife is important to the entire family. Cleo looked at his brother beside him and saw that his cynical and defiant expression had become serious. Since they were children, he had lived under the protection of his brother and did as he liked. He had the right to choose someone he liked to be his wife, but his brother did not. "Bro, Cleo suddenly did not know what to say. Theo patted him on the shoulder and then looked at Matthew. His usual icy cold eyes revealed an air of arrogance, and he said, "Father, apart from you and Mother, no one else can affect my decisions." In other words, the opinions of all these companies, family empires, and unrelated persons did not matter to him. The only ones he cared about were the opinions of his closest family members. When Matthew heard this, he was stunned. Even though these words were meant to disobey him, he felt a sense of pride and happiness in his heart. He had spent 20 years to achieve his success, never hesitating to make risky decisions. Yet, he had forgotten his son before him, who merely took 5 short years to calm a huge internal strife. He had even elevated the Liu family to a higher status within those 5 years. Even though the words he had just uttered were rebellious and arrogant, they were not frivolous, as he did indeed have such capabilities. Matthew took a deep breath, before he finally sighed. Theo, don't blame me for being too careful. You must know that it's easy to get the world, but it's not easy to hold on to it. To have such a weak point by your side is definitely not a good thing. Theo's eyes revealed a ripple of gentle yet determined vibe. I will prove to you that she is not a weak point. With that, he turned around to leave. As he watched his brother's shadow leave, all of Cleo's inner guilt turned into admiration. Wow. My brother is too cool. After he left the study room, Theo went to look for little treasure. The little guy was leaning with his cheek in his hand as he lay on the windowsill, zoned out. His little face expressed a mix of contentment and disappointment. Theo walked to his son, then gently put his palm on his head. You did well. Little treasure turned his head and looked up. What's wrong? Theo asked. Little treasure used his little hand to pull the hem of his father's shirt, indicating for him to bend lower. Theo bent down. In the next second, a soft little kiss fell on his cheek. Theo, who was used to having everything under his control and prediction, was truly stunned for the first time. After a few seconds, Theo finally returned to his senses. He did not know how to deal with this situation, so in the end he just cleared his throat with a serious face and complimented, "Good boy." Pfft. Cleo, who was leaning on the door, immediately burst into laughter, thinking that his brother was simply too cute in this moment. He had so many tricks when picking up girls, yet it turned out there were things he was not very skilled at too, such as ways to communicate with his son. Theo's stunned stupor by his son's sudden kiss was interrupted when his phone suddenly rang. It was Butler Brandon. Old Butler Brandon emotionally reported, "Hello, Master, Miss Luna came back." Chapter 303. At the same time, at Platinum Palace. Luna was talking to the maid, Wan at the door. "My dearest and cutest Wan, please, just let me in. I guarantee that I'll leave as soon as I've taken my luggage." Luna begged with her palms pressed together. When she left the old residence earlier, she thought that she might as well apply for half a day off from the drama team and collect the luggage she had left at the bungalow. Even though 3 months was not too long a time, she realized that she had unknowingly moved most of her things here. That was why during this period of time, when she needed to use something urgently but could not come over to get it, it was very inconvenient. Of course, the most important thing was that she knew that the devil would be at the old residence, and definitely not at the bungalow. That was why she quickly used the opportunity to rush here. Frustratingly, the situation did not progress as smoothly as she had imagined it would have. The gentle little maid would not let her in, no matter what. "Miss Luna, please don't make this harder for me. It's not that I'm intentionally not letting you in, but I really don't have the authority to open this door." Luna had no choice but to beg Butler Brandon. Butler Brandon was on the phone with someone, but he quickly hung up when he saw her coming his way. Then he cleared his throat and nonchalantly turned to her to say, "Miss Luna, you're back." I came back to get some things." "Dear Butler, would you help me open the door?" Luna anxiously asked for help. Butler Brandon's face immediately revealed an expression of helplessness and softly sighed, "Miss Luna, even though as a servant, I should not say much about Master, this time I can't help but tell you. Previously, I don't know what happened, but a while back, the Master returned and he made all of us leave the residence. Then, he locked himself up inside for a whole day. After that, the residence's enter and exit security has been tightened and until now, no one else but him can enter." Butler Brandon paused at this part, and then continued to say, "So, if you need to go in, you can only contact the Master to come over and open the door for you." When she heard Butler Brandon say this, Luna recalled that Cleo did mention this to her before. She had been intentionally avoiding and not paying attention to all news related to Theo. Luna was shocked for a moment, but she quickly said, "Thank you, then it's fine, I'll leave. Dear Butler, goodbye." She felt slightly unsettled about the phone call she saw Butler Brandon on. Since she still could not get her luggage today, it was best she left soon. When Butler Brandon saw that Luna was going to leave, he suddenly became anxious as the Master was still on his way. He had seen his Master depressed for many days, and finally he waited for Luna to be back. He was not going to let her go easily. Thus, Butler Brandon quickly called out to stop her. "Miss Luna, wait." "Dear Butler, is there anything else?" Luna stopped in her footsteps. Butler Brandon pretended as if he suddenly thought of something and said, "Miss Luna, I suddenly thought of a way of opening the door for you." "Really?" Luna's face immediately lit up. "Yes, Miss Luna, please wait here for a while." "Okay, no problem. I'm so sorry for troubling you." At this moment, Luna's heart was filled with grateful thoughts that there was humanity in this world without suspecting that the friendly-looking old butler would have tricked her. Thus, Luna stood there, full of hope. Alas, she waited for more than 20 minutes. Chapter 304. Luna anxiously waited as she subconsciously started to pick at the plants in the garden. Soon, the tree before her was plucked bald. "Miss Luna, have a cup of fruit juice." Wan served a cup of juice, with a tray full of delicate refreshments. "Thank you." Luna drank half a cup in one gulp and impatiently asked, Wan, have you helped me check why hasn't Butler Brandon returned yet?" Wan was not good at lying, but she still tried very hard to put on a smile and calmly comforted her. "Miss Luna, please wait for a little longer. He should be back soon." "Okay." Luna looked at the time on her phone and decided to wait for another 5 minutes. If Butler Brandon was still not back by then, she had to leave. She was not sure why, but her heart felt increasingly unsettled. The time passed slowly and 5 minutes felt like forever to her. Finally, the 5 minutes was up. Luna gave her cup to Wan and said, "I'm sorry, Wan. I've still got some things to do and I have to go now. Please let Butler Brandon know, okay?" Wan's expression changed and she stopped Luna in her path in a moment of anxiousness. "Miss Luna, please wait for a little while longer. It will be done, very soon, only a little while longer." If Luna had not noticed anything suspicious from Butler Brandon's actions, then she surely sensed something from a person as innocent as Wan who easily revealed her true intentions. Luna looked at the way she acted and immediately knew that something was not right, so she quickly pushed her way through Wan and ran. Just as she moved past Wan, a lone lean figure came into her sight. "Geez. I knew it." Luna buried her face in her hands and blocked her face. She turned around to look at Wan and said in a tone of disbelief, "My dear Wan, even you are helping them to trap me?" All her hope for humanity was nonsense. She could not trust this world full of tricks anymore. Wan felt so guilty that she was started to cry and bow apologetically. "Miss Luna, I'm sorry. Really sorry. So sorry." As Luna watched the tear-stained little beauty apologize, she could not bring herself to be angry at her. She could only turn around to face the devil. Luna took a deep breath and said, "CEO Goldberg, I am here to..." Before she could finish her sentence, Theo stonily said, "Come in," and then started to walk towards the bungalow. Luna looked at the devil's shadow and her only thought was to run away. However, Theo seemed unworried that she would run away. He did not even turn back to look at her and walked ahead. At last, Luna really did not dare to walk away. Her dilemma resulted in her obediently following his instructions in the end. Behind her, Wan and Butler Brandon, who were hiding in a corner, finally felt relieved. Luna nervously followed after the devil. She inadvertently looked around this place that she had not visited for quite a while. The living room, corridor, staircase, decorations, even though everything was exactly the same as before, she had a foreign and distant feeling. Theo's firm steps led them to the door of her room before he opened it. He then stood there, waiting for her, as if he already knew why she had come. Chapter 305. Luna's eyes met with the man's pitch-black ones. She stood there frightened and slightly freaked out, afraid to approach him. Theo lit up a cigarette and leaned against the door as he started to relax a little. Only now Luna felt more comfortable to advance towards him as the atmosphere became less tense. Luna passed by Theo at the speed of lightning. Swoosh, and there she went, leaving only her shadow, almost like a martial arts master in the television series. At the center of the room, Luna was a little stunned. Nothing in her room had changed at all. Messy fashion magazines were strewn all over her bed, rolled-up yoga mats were lying carelessly on the floor, the eyebrow pencil she had dropped the other day was still there, and even the position of the broken lead from the pencil remained the same. All of these made her feel like she was living a different reality. She felt like the time she spent here was something that had happened in her past life. When a gust of wind blew through the windows and raised the curtains, Luna returned to her senses and started packing up. First, she took out a large box from under the bed, then she arranged her items one by one. Clothes, shoes, cosmetics, personal care items, PSP game console. Every time she put an item into the box, she felt a part of her heart was being packed away, and it hurt her. Throughout the whole process of packing, she did not dare to look at Theo at all. From within this room, she only took her own possessions and nothing else. When she looked at the small items Theo had bought for her, she felt guilty for cruelly abandoning them. Finally, she finished packing and Luna had to face the inevitable. She took a deep breath, lifted her head up and looked at the silent man standing beside the door. CEO Goldberg, I'm very grateful for your care during this period of time. Regarding little treasure, if there's any need, just give me a call, I'll be there whenever you need me. At this point, she was suddenly at a loss for words. After some internal struggling, she blurted out her final words, I'll be on my way, then. She bowed to him out of respect and gratitude before she dragged her box and started to leave. After this farewell, perhaps the chances of meeting again would be very slim. They did not belong to the same world with the disparity between them. If it was not for Little Treasure's accident the other time, they would never had met each other in this lifetime. Luna's heart sank as she continued her exit with a troubled feeling. The moment she reached the exit, she saw some movement from the corner of her eye. The man who had been smoking quietly without any response, suddenly placed his hands on the other side of the door frame with the cigarette still between his fingers, blocking her way out. CEO Goldberg. Luna was a little confused, unsure of what Theo's action meant. Luna. Yes. You definitely have some guts. Huh? Luna was taken aback by what Theo said. What did he mean? Theo finished the last bit of his cigarette, stubbed it out and looked at her. He started talking calmly, aren't you afraid of me locking you up here, forever? Luna was shocked. Please calm down, boss. Chapter 306. Luna was so scared that her knees almost gave way. Whoever said she had guts? Even when she entered the house earlier, it was because she had been too afraid to ignore his instructions. Luna stood still, one foot in front of the other, and a hand dragging her box. She dared not make another move. She carefully observed Theo's expression. Too bad the devil was so highly skilled, she had no idea if he was just joking or he was being serious. Luna kept thinking, then an idea popped into her head and she quickly said, who was that again? Tagore. Tagore said before, if you love someone, you should let your love surround them like sunlight and set them free. Theo grinned. Luna did not understand the reason behind his weird grin, so she continued, Tagore also said before, liking is presumptuous, but love is an act of restraint. And he even said that, love is not temporary restraint without considering the consequences, but it's to help them live on freely. Tagore said all of these? Theo asked coolly. I think so. Luna let out a hollow laugh. Her mind was actually in a mess, she did not know who said all of these quotes. Are there more? Theo continued asking. Luna nodded her head eagerly, like a tiny chick pecking on rice grains. Yes, Tagore also said that, imprisoning others is illegal. Theo's little grin spread into a wide smile, his cold fingers holding onto her chin. Then, did Tagore mention that your mouth is not suitable for talking nonsense, but better suited for kissing? Right after he finished his sentence, their lips met. Luna was flabbergasted. You're the one who's talking nonsense. Tagore wouldn't say something like this. In shock, the box fell off Luna's hands, followed by a loud bam sound of the heavy door closing shut. Luna fell behind onto the soft bed. Theo just stood in front of the bed, slowly and elegantly, taking off his coat. Impure thoughts of how her boss was undressing himself passed through her mind. She shook her head and tried to pull herself together, quickly saying, "CEO Lou, you have to calm down. Committing a crime for someone like me really isn't worth it. I can teach you some meditation. It works like a charm." As she was blabbering, Theo had already taken off his coat and he started to close in on her. Seeing how close the man's breath was getting to her, she felt cornered and she shouted, "Theo! Don't you dare cross the line. Don't force me to use violence on you." Instead of retreating upon her defensive reaction of calling him out, the man showed a satisfied expression. He totally ignored the girl's warning and continued to close in. Dang it. Just because I don't show what I can do doesn't mean I can be taken advantage of. Luna shoved her knee forward and tried to create an opening for herself. In the end, before she could do anything further, she felt a cold sensation on her wrist and heard a clacking. She was handcuffed. Chapter 307. Luna was stunned, staring at the other half of the handcuff cuffed on Theo's wrist. Looking at the pink handcuffs, Luna burst out in fury, "Theo, you've crossed the line. How dare you use such a disgusting thing?" Theo raised his eyebrows slightly. "Are you sure this is mine? If not, it couldn't be mine, could it?" She felt something was odd. Suddenly, she noticed that these handcuffs looked really familiar. "Ugh, why does this look like the one I bought for $9.90 from Taba's sex toy shop, the one I bought to beat up Jiang Mai?" She did not even remember where she had left this and she had not given a thought to it when she was leaving earlier. She felt like kicking herself for putting herself in this situation. It was impossible to get away this time since they were handcuffed together. Where else could she go? Seeing how he had cuffed himself together with the girl, and looking at her fiery expression, Theo knew that she could not run away this time. He started relaxing and caressing the girl's hair, like a lion preparing to enjoy his prey slowly. Luna really ran out of ideas as she gave him her death stare. She thought about resorting to attack him with her head, but if all else failed, then at most the both of them would pass out. Theo got closer and closer. Just a few centimeters before making contact, Luna prepared to butt heads, but it was at that moment that Theo suddenly slumped his face into the pillow instead. Luna was confused. She had not even headbutt him yet. How had he just fainted? The devil had so many tricks up his sleeves that Luna did not dare act carelessly. 3 minutes passed by and a steady sound of breathing followed. Luna turned over to see what had happened. She saw Theo had his eyes shut, and he was fast asleep. He had fallen asleep. She had been scared to death and he had fallen asleep. Luna observed his face closely, paleness and fatigue written all over his face. One side of his face and the corner of his mouth looked a little red and swollen, as though he had gotten a slap from someone. Who had dared to slap the devil? Without much wondering, it must have been the devil's father. Back then, he had made Luna push all the blame onto him. Who knew if his dad had done something to him after she had left? She also realized that he had lost a lot of weight. Oh crap. If she continued lying on the bed with Theo like this, it might not turn out very well. She had nearly zero self-restraint in front of this man. Which was precisely why she had been avoiding him, to prevent situations like this, to prevent herself from getting soft for him. Bam! The door slammed open just as Luna started to feel anxious. It was Cleo who appeared. "Bro, I have something urgent, ugh. Second master. Please help me." Luna grabbed her chance and asked for help. Bam! Cleo shut the door quickly and left, as if he had not just appeared. Chapter 308. Luna was speechless. Didn't he say it was something very urgent? How could he just run off like that? It was a good thing she had her phone with her, so Luna quickly called Cleo. "You ass. Cleo, where are you? How could you just run off like that? Am I not your friend?" Luna scolded him in a lowered voice when finally, from the other end of the phone came Cleo's weak defense. "No. I've always thought of you as my sister-in-law. You." Luna was about to explode from anger. "Luna, it's not that I don't want to help you. It's because, never mind, Just give Dr. Tom a call and you'll know. Tom. His relationship with Theo was pretty good, and he was also someone who knew Theo quite well. Perhaps he'd have some ideas? Was it because Cleo did not want to offend his brother so he told her to look for Tom? After deliberating, she quickly gave Tom a call. Hello, Luna. What's up? Tom sounded surprised as he had never thought that Luna would call him. He had always regarded himself as inferior to her, seeing that someone as inexperienced and new to the industry as her could achieve success that he had not yet been able to. That was why he did not interact much with Luna or even why they both did not contact each other. I have something I need your help with. Would it be okay if you dropped by the Platinum Palace? What's up? Did you know about me and Theo? I roughly know a little. Currently, Theo's situation is a bit odd. Could you come over to have a look? Could you be any less vague? Luna buried her face in her hands. How could she explain the current situation? At last, Luna just simply blurted out everything that happened. That was what happened, and now I'm chained down by him. The other end of the phone was silent for a while, then Tom said, Luna, do you really think he would hurt you? Of course she was not worried. But in front of Tom, she definitely would not admit it, so she decided to be ambiguous. I don't know, he did say such scary things. Tom softly sighed, there is something that Theo made me keep a secret from everyone. Cleo knows though, but he guessed it himself. Luna frowned, what is it? Since you rejected him, he has been suffering from severe insomnia. He can only sleep for 3 hours at most every day. Luna's face darkened, how did it become like this? Tom explained, based on my experience, it was probably because he's experiencing from severe psychological stress. Theo's definitely not as harmless as he seems. He will do anything to achieve his purpose. Only when it comes to you, you are the exception. In order not to harm you, he kept suppressing his true personality, but internally he's battling with himself. He was worried that if he let loose a little, he might lose control of himself and do something regrettable. You must know that the pressure he faces is immense, and he doesn't dare relax even for a moment. At this point, Tom paused, no matter as a doctor or as a friend, I have a favor to ask. Luna, let him sleep for a while. If he goes on like this, he would not be able to endure it even if he was Iron Man. Be rest assured that with his current health condition, he won't be able to do anything to you. Chapter 309. Okay, understood. Luna hung up on the call and smiled bitterly. Indeed, she should not have called anyone related to Theo. Great, she thought to herself, now she would not be able to leave. Just as Qin Mufeng predicted, Theo fell into a deep slumber and slept from day till night. In between, Cleo secretly came over to peek quite a few times. At least he had some conscience and delivered meals to her several times to avoid her starving to death while accompanying the sleeping beauty. The next morning, Theo finally woke up. Luna, who was deep in her thoughts, returned to her senses when she felt some movement behind her. You're awake. In his sleepy stupor, Theo was still quite blur. When he saw the girl, he curiously asked, why didn't you leave? If she really wanted to leave, the handcuffs would not have been able to stop her. Luna looked straight into his eyes, and then removed a hair clip from her head to pick the handcuff. His eyes immediately darkened. However, in the moments after that, they filled with shock. Luna took off her jacket and started to unbutton her blouse, one button at a time. At the third button, Theo grabbed her hand and stopped her. Luna quietly looked at him. Theo, I don't remember if I've said this to you, but what I can't stand the most is others being too nice to me. I'm most afraid of owing someone, so this is the only way I can repay you. Theo's face instantly turned sour. Do you think I only want to get into your pants? Luna stuttered, Yeah, Theo could get any woman he wanted, in fact all of them were clean, so who did she think she was? Theo resumed, although, initially, it was because of this. Luna was suddenly stunned, what? But do you think once is enough? I want to have this forever. Theo continued to say. God damn it. The devil was flirting again. As she heard this, Luna could not help but turn red in embarrassment. Theo only exhibited gentleness as he helped her button her blouse up again. Luna, answer just one question, then you can leave. What question? The person you like, who is it? Theo queried. When she heard this question, Luna immediately clammed up. Based on the current situation, the most reasonable person for her to say would have been Adam. But previously, she was worried that Theo would do something to Adam. It was fortunate that he had not. Luna's mind stirred. If she directly told him now that the person she liked was Adam, she was worried that Theo could not restrain himself, then Adam might be in trouble. Even if Adam was the devil's nephew, she was afraid he would not be able to handle the devil's attack. So, who should she say it was? At this very moment, she suddenly thought of someone, so Luna just stuttered, I've actually mentioned this to you before. It's my previous boyfriend, the one I only dated for a day. I previously said that even though I liked him, I couldn't be with him because his identity was too dangerous. I would only be a burden to stay with him. Theo squinted his eyes knowingly. You know that he is very secretive, so I'm very sorry but I can't tell you much about him. Luna explained nervously, waiting for Theo's reaction. Chapter 310. After what seemed like forever, Theo suddenly said, Luna, a person's taste will change. Luna was confused. What? What do you mean? What does this have to do with someone's taste? Theo replied, one day, you will realize that cabbage is yummier than carrots. Luna was speechless. Could he be more straightforward? Theo touched the girl's little head and said, let's go, a freshly awoken person's appetite is voracious. Plus, she just dropped a bomb on him. The fact that he could control his temper till now was a miracle. As soon as Luna heard about the improvement in his appetite, she flew off the bed. Theo called out to her from behind, hold on. What else? Luna rigidly spun around. Take all your stuff away, Theo said. I did. Luna was confused. Theo looked at the rows of wardrobe in front of him and reminded, clothes. Luna felt awkward, I don't need all of these, they're too expensive. The problem was not just that the clothes were expensive and luxurious brands, it was that she had not even heard of some of them. It's my friend's brand, he only gifted it to me because he couldn't sell it off, so it's not that valuable. If you don't want, I will let Uncle Yuan throw it out, Theo said. Luna looked hurt, it's a pity to throw them away. Besides, they are a piece of your friend's hard work. Actually, these clothes do look quite nice, your friend is talented, he would definitely be famous in the future. The price of these clothes might appreciate then, even though you won't be using it, you could keep it for your future girlfriend or something. Theo shot her a look, you think I would give my future girlfriend clothes that I gave someone once and was rejected? There's too many, I can't take it all. There isn't enough space in the apartment. You don't have to worry about that, I'll get someone to send it over. Luna only wanted to leave as soon as possible, so she hurriedly agreed, fine, then. Thank you, CEO Goldberg. Bye, CEO Goldberg. She finally left the bungalow. Luna stretched her arms to the sky and breathed a sigh of relief when her phone suddenly rang. She thought it was the drama team calling to rush her, but she almost dropped her phone at the sight of the caller ID. It only showed 2 letters, YS. It must have been because she had just used this guy, so coincidentally he was calling her. Luna felt bad, but after calming herself down to not reveal anything, she picked up the phone, hello. Did something bad now, didn't you? The coarse voice from the other end of the phone said. Luna was shocked. Pfft, you did do it. This time he had a confident tone. Luna wanted to shoot herself. How did he guess? All she said was just a simple, hello. My dear, I really underestimated your nerve, he said dangerously. Luna was shocked again, yet another person saying she had nerves. It looks like if I don't return soon, you'd really cheat on me. Luna could not stand it any longer, since when did I cheat on you? Pfft, no way, I've got nothing to do with you at all. How could I ever cheat on you? Ha, it's Theo, isn't it? Luna stiffened when she heard him say Theo's name. If you dare do anything to him, I won't let you go.